obligatory shoe size field for customer. I can't create an index that spans that new field and also adds fields from the base table, because that would used to be two separate indexes across two tables. And the reason why we've been so restrictive about that right now is because you have to think about the database configuration where one tenant of 100 uses that extension. We can't be slapping indexes on that shared table that's going to degrade the performance of it for other users. And so we have to start thinking, okay, how do we solve the performance problem in such a way that we can isolate that to just the tenant that needs to use it? And we are thinking about that. But for now, the solution has been, well, we have to be a little bit more restrictive about what keys you can create and what fields you can include in your new keys. So that's just the one limit I want to manage.
If you replicated a key or a field between tables, I guess you could solve that problem.
We have ideas. What you said is one of them we're considering. It just hasn't come to fruition yet. So we know we need to solve it.
Okay. Oh,
So with all these solutions, because we're tracking it up,
yep.
and there's things happening every month,
Yes.
it is very difficult to plan building a product without a finished development environment, let alone not knowing when something's going to be done or ready to play. So you've heard about a spring release date.
Yep.
So if that means that this development environment is actually ready for real time, in the spring, that means we realistically can't build the extensions today because we keep running into roadblocks.
Yes.
Because we've got the list of 20, and there's one we think we could build today.
Okay.
And we have no clue when we can build any of them. So there's no development roadmap because we don't have a development environment. So what is our roadmap for actually being able to do something real and tangible?
Right. So the question is, if I can shorten it up and get that long, is how do we plan forward with the roadmap? Where is the roadmap? When can we expect stuff to come? And when is the development environment ready? And so I think the way I would look at that right now is we are accepting V2 extensions in AppSource right now. You can go out and build a V2 extension and submit it. So we're considering our tools available, usable, and good for production environment. Now, I think the second part there, though, is I need feature X, whatever X happens to be, that's not currently there. How do I know when I get that? And that's where we've talked about things like the GitHub, giving us feedback here this week. That is the partner feedback that we're using to prioritize scenarios. And that's part of why we haven't set out here's the next 12-month roadmap, is this is very much an iterative. When we ship this month, what are the highest priority issues for next month? And at any time in there, we might reevaluate and set new priorities for the month after. So I think the downside of this environment is we don't have a good 12-month roadmap. The upside is it can change month to month to prioritize the scenarios that the people in this room, the other partners we have need. So I realize that doesn't give you exactly what you're looking for, but hopefully that helps clarify what we're doing and why we're doing it that way. Did that kind of... So, yeah.
We still can't build a single product.
Well, what we need to know is we need to understand why it is you can't build them, so let's do
Yep.
that.
So, yeah, definitely, if you got time afterwards, we should chat.
How long do you think we're going to have Seaside?
I think I see that.
Yeah, so I would say we will have Seaside at least through the next release of the next on-prem release. After that, I can't guarantee forward how long. And that's not to say that it's immediately going away. It's to say that we haven't decided yet what the future looks like, how soon we can go to the new tool set entirely. So.
At least 2019.
So the spring release will have Seaside. Not what I can guarantee.
So it's basically the continuation of some work, Jay. So the new development environment, we saw it, it's not completed. So my question is based on the history of being in the development of Microsoft. So is it something that this environment will be improved, or somehow Microsoft has a plan that the entire Dynamic 365 will move into the actual Visual Studio, which is like a powerful development tool there. So what is the plan so that we could?
Yeah. So well, Visual Studio Code is supported by Greater Microsoft by the same group of teams that do Visual Studio, and we've chosen Visual Studio Code specifically over Visual Studio It's lighter weight, it's easier to use, it's free, and a number of reasons. There's also been talk, I don't know where it currently sits, from the Visual Studio team of supporting the interfaces that Visual Studio Code uses, which means that if we do that, we can immediately pick up all of our investment in Visual Studio Code, drop it into Visual Studio, and it would work there as well. But
Like
so-
my question was more like the new development environment, like the AL is more like the coding style is exactly the same like C side. So
Yes.
my question was that the C side or the Pascal way of coding will go away and everyone will go completely to the C# development language, or
Well,
what is
we will
still
still-
that
sorry, the
procedure
question
will
is,
go?
are we transitioning to C#?
Yeah.
The answer is no, we're still using the AL language. It's been modified some, we're making improvements to it, we've added new syntax to make it a little more friendly, and we will continue to do that going forward. What we've seen a lot to this point, we've added some new APIs, we've made some improvements to the language, but a lot of what we've done up to this point has been, we need to get the new compiler, the new tools, to where C-side was in terms of language compiler. So we need objects like code units and tables and stuff like that, and we have to get those first. But once we get there, we can iterate rapidly because of the not being in the old C++ environment that it was written in before. We have a new code base, modern styles in there, modern tools and libraries in there. And some of the stuff we've seen, like the profiles and .NET replacements we've done, those would have taken a lot longer to develop in C side than it takes for us to develop there. So we can start to iterate more rapidly on moving the language forward into a more friendly environment for
One
specific
part of
things.
your comment to add to that too is, if you think about the fact that the AL language is something to control versus C#, which we're running in its own runtime, we have the ability to control from a platform perspective exactly what that code is doing and how it's done, which will enable us to get into better able to control resources and to manage tenants using things responsibly and balance that out. So it's nice to be in control, and when we can couple that with the language enhancements being able to make, we decided that let's call it the modified AL language is actually a really good fit to be. So we're sticking with that as our language. We'll continue to improve it.
When do your internal development teams use only the new tools?
So the question is, when do the internal development teams use only the new tools? We are in the process of migrating all of our extension development to the new tools actively right now. We're trying to get there as fast as we can. And for the base application, we still have a couple of things to figure out. And that's not so much the ability to build the base application as an extension, it's that once we do that, we don't currently have everything in place that you would need to modify there like you do in C-side. We don't want to take away the source code modification that you have right now until we get something else to replace it. So that's actually the biggest reason why we won't go there in the short term.
Currently, there have been published Microsoft standards for generating your code. Are you publishing standards for the new products? And if so, when and where will you run?
So the question is, are we publishing standards for code? And I don't know specifically where those are right now. I can find out. Espen, do you know where those are?
I don't know where they are. We have been talking with the application teams about which one of them they want to update, and the plan is to also provide automatic formatting and things like that, which will remove a lot of the sort of manual work of obeying to the rules. Potentially also analyzing that tells you that this should be like this.
So the answer for people that didn't hear it was, we are actively working with our application teams on discussing what needs to change in those standards, and even better yet, building some of those into the compilers so that they happen right away. You get warnings or errors to help with those scenarios instead of having to do it after the fact.
I don't know about the guidelines. We don't have a timeline for when it will be able. I mean, we still consider getting feature functionality in the compiler as more important as what we do. So we are still going for feature parity before we do that.
I understand your priority, but as we're working on stuff, it's very disconcerting when you read somebody's code that is not using the standards that you're used to. And as we are learning this process. If that's not guided by some rules, then it's gonna be all over the world.
I know that the application teams are starting to look at implementing some of their rules. I mean, analyzers that will verify them and you get feedback into VSCO. Formatting part is not in our schedule right now. We have it on our backlog, we know we're going to do it, but it's not something we're working on yet.
Good, we'll take one more question. I think we're a few minutes over, so.
Okay, well, if you could back up 2 slides, that would be great. But the one with the links on it, I appreciate that. That one. The question I had was, it's just really a little detail, but currently the object documentation ends up on the bottom of the text file. Is that still going to be the same in the
Yeah.
Well, I think you can, the object documentation, you can put the documentation anywhere you want.
Okay. Yes.
Comment block.
Yes, you can
Well, I
put
can stick a comment block anywhere, but, you know, as you say about standards and stuff, we have code markup and we put, you know, what's our history here, and we put it on the documentation section.
Yep.
Which right now ends up on the bottom of the text. Is that where it's going to end
Yeah,
up?
I don't think we have a documentation block anymore. You just use comments to put it where you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time.